before.
All right, it's 3:00. You guys ready?
Yes, let's do it.
All right, going live. Give it 10 seconds.
Great. Hello, folks, and welcome to our Kids in Comedy Saturday, 2 p.m. graduation show. Give yourselves a round of applause for making it to your devices. Wow, it is a fun time over here at Kids in Comedy, and we're going to show you why by knocking your socks off with some stand-up comedy. Now, if you don't know what goes on here, my name is Nick. I will be your host for this show. I was also the teacher for this session. And if this is your first Kids in Comedy viewing experience, let me just tell you really quick what we do. We are a program that has a couple of different sessions going on all year long, where kids come to us who want to perform stand-up comedy, and they bring in all their ideas, and then we help them mold their ideas to eventually sound a little bit more like stand-up comedy. And then they come in every single week for 2 hours, and we work on all of those ideas together in like a workshop setting, and they get some notes, and then they go back and they rewrite, and then they come up with new ideas, so on and so forth, till 8 weeks from that first day, they get to perform live on YouTube, and that's what you're about to see right now. So what you're about to witness is a lot of work here. This is the older class, our Saturday older class. So these kids are 13 and up, and they have some fabulous jokes for you. So I'm very excited to get this show rolling. But first, I'd like to just sort of talk a little bit about, performing here on Zoom. I mean, I believe this is about a year to the month, something like that we started doing the Kids in Comedy on Zoom over the internet. And for obvious reasons, we could not be at Gotham Comedy Club, where we normally run our graduation shows and our classes. So we tried it last year, and it ended up working out very nicely. And we've had a lot of fun, and I didn't think it could be possible. I really didn't. It's just like, how could you perform on Zoom during a pandemic? But time and time again, these kids have proved to be able to concentrate enough and be into this enough and be funny enough to have really great shows. So I'm excited to have another one today. Myself, though, it's like I've been doing stand-up comedy for a long time. The majority of that time has been live in person. And I never thought that I would be able to adapt to this kind of, performing experience. But now I'm worried. I've been doing it for so long. It's like, am I going to be able to go back and actually perform in like a real place without having like the comforts of my little zone here, my little studio that I've made? What you're seeing is just the luxury of this place. I mean, look, I got a globe and a map. I mean, who has that? Only insanely rich people. But I managed to pull it off, and it's like, am I going to be able to perform without a globe and a map behind me? I don't know. Also, it's like, you don't see what's out of frame. You only get here. But like, I don't think you realize I have not one, but 2 seltzers going at the same time, folks. This is my black cherry vanilla, and it's just a delicious treat. It's refreshing. This one has coffee in it. It's a coffee seltzer. I feel like people would look at me strangely if I requested a coffee seltzer every single time I performed at a comedy club, and it doesn't end there. I feel a little faint, a little edgy. Walnuts. Am I going to be able to perform without my trusty bag of chopped walnuts from Wegmans? Plug. This is something that I almost feel like it's so natural to have this item next to me. It's like, did I have this when I was performing at comedy clubs? I must have, because I just feel like I could never perform without my Patrick Ewing figurine. How am I gonna, if I can't dunk into my walnuts when a good joke goes off, how am I gonna really be performing? I mean, it's I wish it stopped there. I just feel like I will never ever feel comfortable performing live on stage if I don't have my trusty copy of Birding for Kids on VHS. Birding for Kids on VHS. May never be able to perform without my trusty copy of Birding for Kids on VHS. Anyway, I miss it though. I do miss being out there in the world. You know, I miss the little things. I miss going into a Dunkin' Donuts without feeling like I'm gonna die. And I've been a little discombobulated since I've been able to really enjoy the inside of a Dunkin' Donuts, and I think that's because I only know what holiday is coming up based on the seasonal donut at a Dunkin' Donuts. That's where I am in my life. Okay. Like basically, if I don't go into a Dunkin' Donuts in the beginning of February and notice a heart-shaped donut, my fiance is not getting flowers on Valentine's Day. That is where I am in my life. Um, I miss real restaurants too. Remember going inside of real restaurants? That's gonna be fun. Anybody here ever win an eating contest before? By accident? Am I the only one that's had that scary, scary event happen to him? Oh, it was a great day. Just sitting in a wings place for a few hours by myself, minding my own business, eating a whole bunch of wings, and then out of nowhere, the manager put a medal around my neck. And at first, it was very startling and scary. I thought I was being kidnapped, but then I realized it was even worse because I had to give a speech in front of the restaurant. Very fun day. A little taste of my speech. I was like, "Well, I have to dedicate this win to my crippling depression. If it were not there, I wouldn't be eating at a wings place at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday by myself. I would have never made it here if it wasn't for my large gut, for all the storage space of what looks like up on the wall 78 wings. That surprises even me. And of course, I'm going to donate all of my celery sticks and carrot sticks to those who eat vegetables because I do not. And thank you so much. Um, I haven't been able to go into restaurants. That was a comfort for me, being able to eat out a lot. But I have been able to watch a ton of TV this year. For the past year, I've watched so much TV. And I was a guy who watched a lot of TV. And I am now even surprising myself. I feel like I sign up for a new streaming service like once a month now. It's like insane. My new one is Discovery Plus. I absolutely love Discovery Plus. If you don't have Discovery Plus, you're missing out. All right. It's got the Discovery Channel. It's got Food Network. It's got like 14 murder shows. Apparently, or networks. There's like a network now for every kind of horrible murder. There's like a whole network dedicated to husbands who kill their wives. And then there's another network that is just wives killing their husbands back. And then there's a network for finally the children rise up and kill their parents. It's like if you're a murder person, which there are a lot out there these days. If you're a murder person, you got to get over to Discovery Plus. They also have my favorite, which is the TLC network. TLC is unbelievable. TLC is great because it proves that you do not have to be attractive to be a TV star. You could be ugly, a hoarder. You could be 600 pounds. You could be a doctor who exclusively pops pimples for a living. You could be married to 7 sister wives or strangely addicted to literally anything. And I will still freak out if I see you in a Starbucks. I imagine myself being in some sort of a Starbucks with my fiance in New York City. And, she's like, "Hey, is that Sir Anthony Hopkins?" And I'm like, "Who?" "I'm looking at the guy who's addicted to eating dirt on TLC. Let's go talk to that guy." Who cares about Sir Anthony Hopkins? What has he done? Memorized a bunch of words? This guy can dig a ditch with his mouth. All right? That guy should be knighted, not him. Folks, that's all I have for you today, but we still have so much fantastic comedy for you to see. We are going to start our show off strong with your first comedian for the evening. Give it up for the hilarious Oscar Steinhardt. It's Oscar. Give him a round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you. I know. I've been wondering recently that, what is wrong with optimists? How do these people still exist? Like, they're just wandering around the world with like hope. I am sick of them. It's just they act like I'm not allowed to be upset about anything anymore. Like, I'll be sad that the grocery store didn't have some chips that I wanted to eat, and they'll say, oh, those were bad for you anyway. It's like, shut up, dude. Come on. I just want some chips. And I am no pessimist, but I just have the apparently like unique ability to see things for what they really are. Because clearly some people can't. Like, I'll imagine it's my funeral and everyone's mourning me. They're just so sad that I've died. And then big old Mr. Optimist comes up and he goes, he kind of smelled bad anyway. Like, it's good to have him gone. It's less suffering for us to just not have him around. It's like, why you gotta be like that? It's not like there's a great selection of men's deodorant out there anyway. Like, I'm sorry, but I have no choice but to smell like the art of sports or the king of baseball. Like, optimists, optimists, man, they're the most negative people. It's just stupid. Anyway, okay. Anyway, this next bit, it's about my girlfriend. Okay, disclaimer, pulling back the curtain, full transparency. I was forced to write this bit. I did not have a choice or a say in the matter. My girlfriend has been begging me to write a bit about her. It's gotten to the point where she's offended that I haven't in the time I've been writing comedy. So here it goes. She asked for this. Remember, she asked for this. My girlfriend is a moron. No, I'm kidding. She's just awful. Like, no. Okay. What's really happening is I'm publicly shaming her. And that's because she's smarter than me and she keeps tricking me and I am not here for it. I'm mad. Okay? I cannot trust her. That's the thing. She does this thing where she pretends not to know something and then acts like I think she's stupid when I explain the thing that she asked me to explain to her. So, like, she'll set up elaborate traps for me because she really wants to call me out for mansplaining for whatever reason. I don't know. It'll look something like this. She'll ask me an innocent question, something that's like totally reasonable to forget. Like, who was the third president? I'll go, oh, it was Jefferson, right? And it turns into, oh, you really don't think I know who Jefferson is? I thought you loved me and all that stuff. It was funny the first time, but it's gotten to the point where I just cannot answer her questions anymore. It's like, okay, I love her to death, but like any person, she can ask some really stupid questions. Like, just recently, she asked me where the Grand Canyon was. I was just like, you can't trick me with this. I know you know where the Grand Canyon is. And then she like begs me to answer. She's like, please, I don't know. Can you tell me? I'm like, there's no way you don't know this. And it's like, I just realized, okay, I forgot. I don't know anymore. And it's like, everyone knows where the Grand Canyon is. Everyone knows this. And she goes, oh, so you think I'm stupid? It's like, that's the place I was trying to avoid from the beginning. It feels like there's no winning. But thankfully, I came up with a simple way to get back at her. Now, when she asks me a question like this, I'll just casually answer it incorrectly. So she'll go, when was the moon landing? And I'll go, oh, geez, I don't know, like 2015? She'd go, hi, wait, the moon landing was in 1969, right? It's like, works like a charm. Well, okay, anyway, thank you for listening, but I should go now because my girlfriend's giving me a call and I feel like I better take it. Thank you.
Give it up for Oscar. Don't take that call. Don't do it, Oscar. Folks, one more time for Oscar. Hilarious set. Sorry to his girlfriend, who I'm sure is watching. Your next comedian, so funny. Give it up for Jack Schuell, everybody.
Hi, it's me again, Big Boy Jack. And I think there's a bee in my room, and it's kind of driving me crazy. And I'm kind of scared. Well, I mean, hold on. I might have some irrational fears, but it's not my fault. I mean, my mom's afraid of, like, everything. She's afraid of bears, snakes, large crows, certain rocks, hard pillows, kitchen knives. She'll cut any old animal open with, like, a normal knife, but with a kitchen knife, no way. But, mainly bears. And when she found out that we have bears out here in our little town in Connecticut, she was mildly afraid. That's how she told me to say it. So the next day, we got about 30 Amazon packages, and these packages came with all the bells and whistles. And by that I mean you could start a marching band with all the bells and whistles that were in them. There were kazoos, bagpipes even, a pair of tap shoes, bells and whistles, a saxophone, some dark opaque glasses that seemed that they were impossible to see out of. A fedora was in there too. And I said to my mom, "What the heck are you gonna do with all of these musical weapons? I guess I don't know." And she said, "The bells and whistles are to scare away the bears. The bagpipes and the rest are to start up her Scottish jazz band." And I still don't know what the kazoos are for, but I'll figure that out tomorrow or 2 years, something like that. Anyway, what am I supposed to do if a bear is coming my way for some reason? Let's say they're trying to impress a girl bear, hurting a child like bears do. What am I supposed to do with a bell, playing a song and hope the bear will either be frightened and think I'm insane or just be like, "Oh, this is a jazzy dude. I wouldn't want to mess with him. Let me kill a different kid." Who knows? I might even make another animal friend. That's not a callback, but if my life depended on it, I would play multiple country songs just to get rid of a bear. Speaking of my life, I know 2 siblings as lifelong friends. They're not my siblings, they're just siblings, and they're my friends. They used to come over sometimes before the pandemic appeared out of nowhere and just act like it owned the place, and now it does. But my friends would always know a meme or a joke that I wouldn't, and they would say something to one another, and the other person would laugh. Listen, I'm not funny, but no one's funny enough to just know how to make someone laugh out of nowhere. No one. So anyway, I figured something out. I would continuously ask my mom, "Are they coming? Are they coming?" every second of every day. And boy, would it just piss her off and give me no new information whatsoever except for, the 3 days before they were going to get there. So for those 3 days of agony, I would run up to my computer and pry it open, and with my sweaty hands, I would look up random stuff like Baba Booey and the origin and why it was created in general. And I wouldn't talk to my mom, I wouldn't play games, I wouldn't do homework or even appear for school, which I usually don't do regularly. But I didn't do anything. I survived on what was in my room for those 3 days. My mom would say, "Honey, dinner's ready." And I'd say, "Okay, bring it up whenever you want." And finally, when they came over, after I wasted what had seemed like much longer than 3 days, because somehow browsing the internet that has everything that has been known to mankind gets somehow boring after 1 day. They come over to my house and one of them just says, "Dr. Doofenshmirtz," and the other one just cries and starts breaking out into laughter. He pulled an inside joke out on me after 3 days of pain. You know what I could have done with those 3 days? Literally anything. I could have slept for once. I could have looked at my pool that is frozen. I could have eaten food or played video games or something else. But, I those people are dead to me now. They're not my friends. I don't talk to them. And, I've been coping with it, though. I've been thinking about cowboys, because that's what normal people do to cope. And, I've really been wondering, how do you meet a cowboy? I've never met one, and I'm surprised and confused. Where are cowboys? Do they just run around like raccoons searching for horses and ammo? When do they get assigned their gun? Where's cowboy school? I want to go to cowboy school. I don't know, I'll tell my mom that later, but do they learn cowboy? How do you speak cowboy? Is there at least a camp for cowboys where all the little cowboys with their little cowboy hats run around shooting stuff? Is there a cowgirl? Nah, never mind. But I really want to become a certified cowboy and run around in the sandy west, frantically jumping and shooting my awesome factory new cowboy gun branded cowboy, saying stuff like, "Yee-haw, I'm a rootin', tootin', schmootin', kabootin', something dangerous cowboy. Give me your horse. I'd like to ride a horse." I've never ridden a horse, but yeah, that's it. The bit is over. Please continue. That's it. Move on.
Give it up for Jack, everybody. Jack Cowboys, a mystery to Jack, but comedy, not. One more time for Jack, everybody. Fantastic set. Your next comedian is out of this world funny. He's a bonkers hilarious guy. Give it up for Ethan Panillis, everybody. This guy's nuts.
I did one of the most pathetic things I've done the other day. I texted myself hi. It was a great day, though. I got a text. I think evolution is hilarious. It doesn't really make any sense. I get that cells became different cells, which became different cells, which became fish. But what I don't get is why would the fish go on land? They were like, I know that I'm really very good at being a fish, but I want a little more. I want land. I'm going to go up there with no gear, lungs, food, or water, and I'm going to survive great. So that fish went to land and he died very shortly after because there was no food, water, or lungs for him to survive. The school of fish he was in was like, Tom was really right. He was a genius. I think we should go to land too. He must be having so much fun up there considering he hasn't come back yet. It must be amazing up there. The fish that decided to go onto land would basically be like if a person was like, okay, I'm gonna jump all the way to the moon and survive there for the rest of my life and have kids with nobody because I'll be the only one up there. But they will exist. I'll eat dirt and dust and breathe the non-existent air. What do you mean that's not safe? The moon people will protect me. I don't think they're considered Martians, maybe Moontians. Anyway, I'm sure it's great up there. Or if someone had a horrible midlife crisis and was just like, what if I jump into the water and survive down there? Aquaman did it, and he's not even real. It can't be that hard. The dolphins will protect me. They've done it before, and hopefully they will again. Although, you know what? It wouldn't even be like that. He would die way faster than the fish because the sharks would be like, look at that idiot. He thinks he's one of us. He thinks he's capable of living down here. We should show him. He'd die because sharks are very spiteful animals. I was taught in school that the way evolution worked was that the fish were brought to land because the tide rose, and then the waves brought the fish into puddles, which makes even less sense because then they're like, no, all my stuff was in there. Everything I owned, gone. I didn't even say goodbye to anyone. Well, I guess I live on land now. On a totally unrelated note, the first person to be a surgeon was just kind of winging it. Some guy was just like, my stomach hurts. Someone else was like, well, I could cut you open. That sounds like a horrible idea. It doesn't hurt that bad. I think a Tums would work great. No, I'm going to cut you open. Just look around and hope we see something I can fix. Well, that doesn't seem that safe, but you're the professional. I'm really not. This hasn't ever been done before, and I have no idea why we're doing it. You're probably going to die from an infection anyways. Well, Doc, how do you know what to do in there? Well, I'm going to cut you open, move some stuff around, poke some stuff, and hope you survive. Wait, back up, hope? Well, we've never done this before, so we don't know what comes next. Wait, is that blood on your hands? What were you doing before this? Aren't you a shoe shiner? No, I became a butcher after I discovered my passion for cutting things up. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Hey, how are you going to close me up? Well, we've never needed to do that before. Most animals I tried this on died pretty quickly. Yeah, no, that makes sense. So, how are you going to do it? I'll probably sew you up. Sew me up like a teddy bear? Yeah, just like a teddy bear. So, what are we doing for the anesthesia? Shot of whiskey and punch in the face? That works for kidnapping. It'll work for most surgery. However, I have one important rule. Do not wake up mid-surgery. Why, what happened? Oh, yeah, no, that'd be bad. So when you get in there, how are you going to tell what's wrong? Color? Faith? What the expression is on your sleeping face? You say faith? I'm starting to think you may be underqualified. I'm not. Yeah, well, that's promising. All right, Doc, cut me open, poke around, and hope I wake up. What I personally really don't get about it, though, is it was the first time they ever looked inside someone who's still alive, and they thought, this is a good idea. This will work great, because I know exactly what the insides of people are supposed to look like. The other day, I was thinking about a hearse. There are only 3 reasons to be in a hearse. You're dead, you're driving it, or you're filming a Ghostbusters movie. Who drives hearses? Hearses? I don't know, that sounds weird. I think it's hearsi. People who drive hearsi must be crazy. They transport more bodies than a serial killer. I don't see how someone could do that without going completely insane. A hearse is a morbid cab driver. It's the only cab driver that doesn't get a tip, and if they do, it's terrifying. What do hearses do in their off time? You know when you see a limo in a Stop and Shop and you're like, that's kind of weird. I don't really. They couldn't have just gotten an Uber. You've never seen a hearse at a supermarket? Just some guy trying to bring it all in the car in one trip, dropping mayonnaise, holding 82 bags in one hand and 4 in the other, so you can open the trunk. You're never waiting at a drive-through, honk, and realize there's a hearse in front of you, so you quiet honk as an apology. Have you ever seen a hearse speed? They've got one place to go and they can take all the time they need. Thank you very much. I yield my time.
He yielded his time, folks. He could have done 2 hours of comedy, but he gave it back to us. So for that, an extra round of applause for Ethan. This guy's bonkers. Hilarious set, Ethan. Thank you so much. Your next comedian is absolutely hilarious. As a matter of fact, I believe Roman has been with us for a while. I've seen him write so much comedy, and he kills it every single time. Give it up for Roman Zellman, everybody.
So I think the term arts and crafts is a bit generous. Like crafts, yes, absolutely. But would you consider a friendship bracelet art? How about those popsicle stick picture frames your parents lied to your face about? Honey, it's so good. We're so proud of you. It's going right on the fridge. Yeah, more like going right in the garbage. Yeah, I got some good traumatic memories related to arts and crafts in my youth, and I'm reminded of them every day when I get my orange juice. But to me, those things aren't art, which begs the question of what is art? Oh yeah, we're getting philosophical. See, to me, art conjures ideas of like, I don't know, beauty and originality. Some people say art is subjective. No, it isn't. Sorry, little Jessica, that finger painted self-portrait isn't gonna make its way into the Guggenheim anytime soon. But seriously, can you imagine going to an art museum and there's an arts and crafts section amid the Pollocks and the pastels? And the curator's just like, and here we have a piece made by the artist Kelsey. This hand-traced turkey was made in honor of Thanksgiving many moons ago and uses a wide array of colors like brown and beige. It also shows evidence of the artist's struggle with, how should I put this, hitting the bottle, the milk bottle rather, as she couldn't stay within the lines of her own handprint. This piece was made in what we in the art community call her terrible twos period. But a phoenix arises out of the ashes as we move into her terrific thieves period. This piece, entitled Another Hand Turkey, was, as the name of the period suggests, made the subsequent year. As you can see, it is a bigger hand than last year, and the color palette is very different, using purples and reds, which can be attributed to the artist switching from the milk bottle to Pop Rocks. At least she miraculously stayed in the lines this time. Like, come on, parents, you've got to tell your kids the truth. That's why when I have my kids, I'm going to be very blunt with them. They come home from school with cotton balls stapled to a piece of wood, just drenched in glitter, going, Daddy, look what I made. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to burn that stylish piece of wood and make them a s'more with the fire, because I'll be a good dad. Speaking of male family members, my uncle has recently developed a new addiction. Yeah, and I understand, you know, it's pandemic life. We all need our vices, but I'm worried he's taken it a bit too far, and I'm worried for his health. He's addicted to sending Bitcoin memes and articles to our family group chat. It's really getting out of hand. See, I'm not a very social person, so when I get a text notification at 2 a.m. on a Saturday night, I'm hoping it might be, you know, my friends asking if I want to do something the next day, but instead, it's my uncle sending me an op-ed that asks the very serious and existential question of, is Bobcat Goldthwait the next Bitcoin celebrity? See, it's stuff like that that's just getting on my nerves. And it's not just me. You know, I think my mom's annoyed by it. I think my cousins are annoyed by it. I'm pretty sure my grandma's annoyed by it, and she's dead. So because I wanted this to stop, I made a separate group chat with the rest of my family without my uncle and grandfather. And we scheduled a virtual intervention for them. I'd say it went pretty well. We had snacks and refreshments. We even rented a face paint and balloon animal guy. I actually have my speech right here that I'll read to you. Dear Uncle Brett, I don't have any good memories of us when I was a child. You never took me to get ice cream or anything that I remember. I don't even think you held me as a baby. The closest we got to a meaningful moment was when you showed me where the afikoman was hidden on Passover when I was 4. But now I realize you were just instilling a cheating attitude in me. Now that I'm older, I'd say our relationship has gotten better. You've actually held me and taken me to get ice cream recently. You know, we've had more meaningful interactions until now. Started off innocently enough. You sent that photo of your Bitcoin Christmas tree and your Bitcoin menorah. To be fair, I probably should have seen those as red flags. Then it was the Bobcat Goldthwait article. But the final straw for me wasn't anything you sent. It was when I figured out you'd infiltrated Grandpa's mind. I mean, he still thinks the crypto part of cryptocurrency will help lead him to the location of the Ark of the Covenant, but he's still into it nonetheless. And now he's posting his fair share of articles to the group chat through no fault of his own. You made that fact real clear, didn't you? When you sent a photo of the two of you with the caption Bitcoin Boys with a Z, and as Queen, as immortalized, another one bites the dust. I'm sorry. You know, I promised I wouldn't get mad. I know you're the victim here, and I apologize. Where was I? Oh, yeah. And I know what you're thinking, you know, like if you didn't like it, why didn't you just leave the group chat? Because I couldn't do that, could I? Because I'm family, and that would be a hurtful reason to leave. But then again, we are having this intervention, and I am writing this speech, so anything's on the table at this point. Regardless, anything you could do at this point would be better than this. As of now, I think you love crypto more than me, more than your own daughters. I mean, what are you buying with it anyway? To which he actually responded, because he's bad at reading hypothetical situations, with your future, which made me want to slap him and vomit at the same time. But anyway, I digress. Anyway, in my phone, I've changed your name from Uncle Brett to Crypto Creep, or if you're into brevity and puns, Creepto. I love you, man, mainly because I have to. But regardless, you've got to separate church from state, or in this case, obsession with group chat. So, Uncle Brett, please take this as a very, very unsubtle hint to find a new addiction. Maybe Cuban cigars, but that's for me to pray for and for you to figure out. So yeah, it went pretty well. I'd say it was pretty successful. He stopped posting stuff to our group chat, but now I am written out of his will. So I guess we'll see how that goes. Thank you, everybody, and drive home safe.
Keep it going for Roman. I gotta say, nice set, hilarious jokes. And if it wasn't for uncles, would anybody know who Bobcat Goldthwait is anymore? I mean, at least we have them to thank for that, keeping his name alive. Folks, we have one more very special performance for you today. And I'm going to introduce our intern for the session. Not only has it been me and my assistant, but we also have a great intern who helps these kids write their material and really gets in there with the notes. And he's hilarious himself. He's been with this program for quite a while. Give it up for Sam Littman, everybody. Keep it going for Sam.
Guys, so I'm teen intern Sam, and it's been absolutely great helping your kids. You know, they're all so great, mega groovy. But enough about them. Let's talk about me. So, you know, I'm a senior in high school, although I guess at this point I'm really more of a senior in my mom's basement, and I'm usually a pretty obedient person. But everyone expects teenagers to be rebellious and independent and wear pants outside. So I decided to cave to this peer pressure and rebel against my mom. Now, she hates Anne Hathaway with every fiber of her being. So to ruffle her mittens, I bought a hat that says #1 Hathawayan, which means a member of the Hathaway fan club, OVS. And I wore it around the house. But my mom just said, I may disagree with your choices, but I respect them. I was furious. Instead of grounding me and giving me the rebel street cred that I need, she's respecting my life decisions. Ugh, I knew I had to take things up a half a notch. So that night, I nailed a bunch of posters of Queen Anne around the house. But when my mom woke up, she seemed more concerned about the destroyed walls and why did you try to nail them to the windows? What is wrong with you? But she still didn't punish me. So I realized I had to go big or go half a home. I bribed Anne Hathaway with $10 whole to have dinner with my family. It's the best gig she's had in years. Yeah, I'm a job creator. But Anne spent the whole dinner talking about her role in Les Miserables and how she wept watching her own performance. But then I saw my mom smile and agree with her. Over the course of the night, Anne Hathaway and my mom became friends, and I didn't even get my phone taken away. I may have lost this battle, but I will win the war. Guess who's coming to dinner tomorrow night? Gwyneth Paltrow. So, completely unrelated, I've been meaning to do a sport for a while now, work off these love handles. And I chose to do track. It was not at all what I was expecting. Like, we did exercises and stretches and whatever. When we actually ran, we just ran around in this big circle called a track. Like, we never once ran down to the donut shop or jogged to a pizzeria. Like, seriously, what's the point of running if there's no light at the end of the tunnel, no frosting at the end of the cannoli? You might as well just jog in place. So I decided to take my complaints to the the coach. I came into his office during lunch and I said, "Listen, sweetie, I'm sure it's not your fault that the track program is so awful and pointless, but I do have some suggestions for improving it. Like, we could relay race to the bakery or pole vault down to the deli. But let me tell you, this guy does not take constructive criticism well." So I quit. He actually seemed to take that pretty well. As I've already told you guys, I don't know the first thing about sports, but I do know all those sports ballers who's always claiming that their favorite sports ball game is rigged. They're all wrong. There's only one game that is truly rigged, the Sexiest Man Alive contest. Think about it. Adam Levine and Mel Gibson both won, and sure, Adam's fine looking and Mel's decent for a racist old guy, but Sexiest Man Alive? I think not. The real giveaway is that Blake Shelton won. Blake Shelton. He looks like the human version of a saltine cracker dipped in water. His facial hair looks like something a stray cat coughs up after it licks itself too much. If Blake was alone in a room, he wouldn't even be the sexiest man alive in that room. Listen, I'm sure some people find Blake attractive, but I'm definitely not one of them. And one day, People magazine and its monopoly on hot guys will end. And who will arise from the ashes like an avenging phoenix? I will. Because I'm going to create my own magazine with its own Sexiest Man Alive contest. My magazine will be called Person Magazine. And the only man featured as its Sexiest Man Alive will be the one who has been robbed of his crown year after year, ignored, while other, lesser specimens of mouth-watering male beauty took his rightful place. The only man featured in my magazine will be the true Sexiest Man Alive, now and forever. Patton Oswalt. Thank you guys for coming. It's been a great show.
Keep it going for Sam. Sam Lippin, everybody. Could you, Ryan, our tech guy, I want to say thank you to Ryan, our tech guy, our director. Ryan, could you put the spotlight back on my camera so I can say good night or good day to all these fine folks? If you wouldn't mind. Thank you, folks. That has been our show. I want to say thank you first and foremost to all of the graduates you saw perform today. Hilarious comedians work so hard on their material, and I believe it did pay off. We had a fantastic show, and it was all because of them. So thank you to Ethan, Roman, Jack, Oscar, and of course our intern Sam, who also performed. I also want to say thank you to my assistant Emma. Emma is on our Zoom right now, and she helps out every single week. She's right in there with me. We co-teach this entire class, and she gets in there with the notes. She's so funny. She's so nice and kind, and she does all of our emails, which is something I have not learned to do quite yet. So thank you so much, Emma. As I said before, I want to say thank you to Ryan, who stepped in for our usual director, Matt. Ryan, you did a bang-up job today. Thank you so much. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be able to get this thing streaming. And of course, last but certainly not least, Joanne and Stu, the directors of the program. They're sitting at home watching this show right now. I'm sure they're proud as well. And we want to say thank you for allowing us to come here and do this fun program every single session. If you're interested in taking a kids in comedy class, well, we have one more 8-week session that follows this session. that starts in about not this week, but the following week. So you can still sign up for classes there. We have classes on for the younger kids or early on Saturdays, and then 2 p.m. is my class, which is what you just saw on Saturdays. Also, we have a Sunday class if Sunday's better for your kid or for you if you're a comedian who wants to get out there. And so sign up for a class. I think we have some room. So get over there, kidsincomedy.com. We also will be doing our summer program on Zoom, our second season on Zoom for summer. And it was so much fun last year. We're doing it again, and it might be our last time to do this stuff on Zoom. So if you're a person who does not live anywhere near New York City where we do this, get over to kidsincomedy.com and sign up for a summer session. That is 3 sessions, 2 weeks apiece, back to back to back. And they're 2 hours on Zoom every single day, Monday through Friday. And in about 10 days' time, we come up with an entire stand-up set, which you can perform just like these kids did at the graduation show. I think that's all for us right now. Thank you so much for tuning in. Now we are going to wave goodbye until this stream ends on YouTube. So don't mind the awkwardness, but thank you for being here and goodbye. So long.